So, good evening, everyone. Our topic for this evening is paano mag-trade using price action. Marami akong natatanggap na messages and yung mga naka-watch na ng reels ko, you would know that majority of the time, 0 to less indicators lang ang ginagamit ko when trading. So basically, the very foundation of my trading strategy is price action. For this evening po, titingnan natin paano po ba mag-trade na naka-bear lang yung chart and we rely solely on the movement of the price. So, are you ready? Pa-type ng ready in the chat box. Ready na Kai? We are so ready to talk about price action. Okay, let's go. So first of all, ano po ba ang price action? Let's define this one first because majority of the time, we hear this very often, but hindi natin alam what we are really talking about. And what I mean may not be the same thing that you know of. So just for alignment, ito po ang price action that I know of and what we will be talking about this evening. Okay? So, unang-una po, ang price action po is simply, okay, studying the movement of price on the chart. So, paano po ang orientation or ang paggalaw ng presyo on the chart? Okay, as we know, the price chart po is really the language of the market. And if we go back to my previous tutorials, okay, when we look at the chart, it is really understanding what happened in the past with historical data so we could speculate on where it might go next, okay, the highest probability of where it might go. If we just look at solely on the movement of the price, then that is the simplest definition of price action. By the name itself, the action, ang galaw ng presyo on the chart. So there are two basic concepts when we talk about price action, which are candlesticks and market structure. And we will both be deep diving into each in the next slides. So with price action, as I've shared, we do not rely heavily on indicators because, as you know, indicators majority of the time are lagging, meaning gumalaw na ang presyo before pa siya mag-send ng signal sa'yo. Because if we really look into indicators, these are mathematical calculations. The historical data should go through a operation before giving us the signal. So, it's either late na tayo, majority of the time, if we rely on the indicators. Okay? So, again, these are the key points when we talk about price action. By the way, we will be giving a lot of examples later on as we go into the very concept of price action. So first of all, the market reflects supply and demand. We know that there are a lot of different names, concepts. May mga FVG, kahit ano, di ba? It's the same thing. Okay? We look at saan ang market, okay, may mga maraming bumibili, okay, the supply area and the demand area. And these are our key area of value or zone of interest. Diyan tayo tumitingin ng, where we make our trading entries. Okay, and as we also know, the more that a zone or an area is being respected, okay, the stronger it will hold. Okay? Also, if we look at really the candlesticks by itself, okay, the very, diba, if DNA is the very basic composition of our cells, of our bodies, then candlestick din po is really the basic foundation of the market analysis or technical analysis. And if we look at the candlesticks, we would be able to see by its body, by its orientation, by its structure, by its week, okay, as the story of the buyers and sellers. So guys, if nitingin tayo sa chart, then tingnan natin ito na parang journal. Okay? We ask ourselves, what is the market trying to do right now so we can make probabilities of where it might go. So tinitingnan natin, how do we interpret, ano bang nangyari? Anong storya ng buyers and sellers? And as I've shared a while ago, indicators are just price is the raw data. So indicators are lagging. Okay? Kailangan pa iproseso ang mga indicators and undergo through an operation before natin makita ang mga signals. Unlike price is the actual data already. So for example, if we put into, for example, here, this is gold. Let me know if you see the screen, the trading view screen. Pa-type ng yes if you see the price chart. Okay, perfect. If we put in, so right now, bear, diba? Walang indicator. If we put in, let's just say, here, this is a 200, tama ba? Let me check. Ito na lang, 20 EMA. Okay, 20 EMA, okay? So if we rely on the 20 exponential moving average, okay, medyo late na tayo, okay? If we wait for it to pull back, okay, for example, somewhere here, right, it is consolidating, okay, and somewhere here, okay, if we want to break out and we wait, for example, if we are looking for a breakout here, we would have entered in this specific candle. But if hinintay pa natin ito, then it's not naman all the time na it will retest. So baka maiwanan na tayo ng price because nga gumalaw na siya before us seeing kung saan na ang presyo ngayon. So again, the indicators are kind of lagging in a sense. So the price still is the raw data where we can see on majority of our trading moves and trading entries. Okay, so going back, okay, we now start understanding the two basic concepts, which is candlestick and market structure. For market structure, okay, we go with the basics. We always look at the market structure as two opposing teams playing tug of war. So as we, mga bata pa tayo, 'di ba, nakapaglaro tayo ng tug of war. O sinong nakapaglaro ng tug of war dito? Me. Say me. 'Di ba, sa sports fest natin nung high school, college, right? Sebastian, sila Army. We played tug of war during intrams or palarong Pinoy. So, may dalawang teams yan. Okay? The teams are the bulls or the buyers, and the other opposing team are the bears or the sellers. So if ikaw ang buyer or if you are part of the bulls team, you will do all your might, all your strength to really pull hard so that your team will win. On the other hand, yung mga bears naman will not, hindi naman sila papayag na matatalo sila. So they will always have to pull hard as much as they can, right? So they would always have to pull against each other until may isang team na mananalo. Okay, not necessarily mean na mas marami sila, but they have a stronger pressure. That's why they win. So kung sino ang mananalo, doon pupunta ang presyo and it creates the market structure. So if the buyers win or if the buyers have a stronger pressure, okay, then the price would be at an uptrend. Okay? Umaangat ang presyo if the buyers or the bulls win. So it's a bulls market. On the other hand, if the bears naman or the sellers win, then bumabagsak na ngayon ang presyo. It becomes a downtrend. And majority of the time, the natural state of the market, ang gustong-gusto ni market is at equilibrium. Okay? Balance lang. And that when that happens, nagsa-sideways lang siya. Right? So it's very interesting because there are a lot of concepts that can be applicable in nature, okay, in our body, di ba? Our body would always want equilibrium. Kaya nga kung may mga viral infection, di ba? So, umaangat yung temperature natin to achieve balance or equilibrium. It's the same thing with Earth, di ba? With the Gauss effect. So, it wants to cool down to contain balance. Pareho lang yan siya sa market. 70 to 80% of the time, the market wants balance, nagsa-sideways lang siya until a catalyst comes in and moves the market up or down. Clear pa ba so far? Pa-type ng clear. If I'm making sense here. Type clear, guys. Clear. If you're still there. Okay, John Javier, Art Gergalia. Okay. So, now we go first to an uptrend. So, it's interesting as well because the market could just go three ways. Una, uptrend. So, paano natin malalaman kung uptrend ang market? It is a series of higher highs and higher lows. There are a lot of indicators already right now na makikita mo na may mga drawings in the chart na higher high, higher low, or other indicators as well, moving average, trend lines, to tell you that it's an uptrend. But without those indicators, by just looking at the market structure, you would know that it's a uptrend because of the higher highs and higher lows. So in this case, for example, okay, so this is the price. So high, higher high, higher high, and higher high. On the other hand, if this is the low part, low, higher low, and higher low. So kung ganito, then it is an uptrend, diba? It's very easy to spot. Okay? The second market structure naman is downtrend. So kabaliktaran lang ng uptrend. This time naman, it's a series of lower high and lower low. Ito, this is, diba? Low, lower high, lower high. Low, lower low, lower low. So in this case, this is a downtrend. Okay. And the last one is sideways. When there is no clear direction of the market and the price is just bouncing off a high price and a low price. So this is the typical range bound or sideways market. We have a price ceiling and a price floor. Okay. There are a lot of traders who had very successful strategies with range-bound markets or mean reverting strategies. However, in my case, medyo correct, John Javier, aka consolidation. Thank you for sharing that. In my case po, I work best with trending markets and not with range-bound. But ano mo naman po siya, depende po sa personality and trip nyo. Okay. So the second concept that we will be talking about is candlestick patterns. Okay, candlestick. So how is a candlestick being created? It's the four data points, the open, high, low, and close. So for example, this is the open, okay, the high, and then it goes lower. For example, this is the lowest point, and then it goes here, okay? Now it becomes a bearish candle. Okay? If dyan ka, depending on where it closed, then it could be a bearish candle or a bullish candle. On the other hand, if it opened below, okay, and then nag-low siya dito, umangat, and then dito siya nag-close, okay, so in this case, this is now a bullish candle. Okay, so again, it's open, high, low, and close. By this alone, you would have an idea, depending on the time frame that you're looking at, kung anong nangyari for a specific span of time of that specific instrument, right? By just looking at the candlestick. And the more candles put together, okay, the stronger the pattern is. Okay? So again, the candlestick is the language of the market, and it gives us clues about momentum and reversal. So we would know that there is momentum, okay, if nakikita natin na malaki ang mga size ng body of the candles. Okay, momentum meaning there is decisiveness. Gumagalaw ang market together na either they will buy that price or they will sell that price. Okay? At the other hand, meron din namang reversal. Okay? It's either the wick, okay? You would know na may mga rejection. So, we would now be able to interpret what happened so we could decide together kung saan siya papunta. Okay? So, now let's put everything in perspective. Okay? So, overall, guys, how do we really trade with price action? It's just basically this. Step 1, we identify the market structure. And tatlo lang yan, di ba? Either uptrend, downtrend, or sideways. That's the very first step. We identify first. Second, we now mark up the supply and demand zones. And as we know, this is our support and resistance areas or our area of interest. That's the second part. And step 3 is we wait for candlestick confirmation for our entries. All of these things should point out to the same bias, to the same direction that is telling you it is indeed a buy position or a sell position. Okay, we will have more examples in a while. So kung buy, then it should be an uptrend. You are at support and it is a bullish candle. All the three things should tell you the same thing. Otherwise, we wait for more confirmation. Kung sell naman, then it's a bearish candle. Okay? Clear ba so far? Before we go into examples. Guys, clear po ba? Yes, okay. Now, let's go to examples. Okay. For example, let's go back in time. Okay. So, this is gold at 15-minute time frame. Okay, depende po kung saan kayo most comfortable. But let's just for the sake of example, then let's just look at the 15-minute time frame of, like for example, gold. So the first question is, what is the market structure? Is it uptrend, downtrend, or sideways? Patay po in the chat box. Uptrend, downtrend, sideways. Okay, perfect. So now it is at sideways. Okay? Nagba-bounce lang siya dito. Okay. If naka-sideways po tayo, then we have two options. We can both buy or sell. Okay? So, we could either wait for it here in the resistance or at the supply zone. Pwede din hintayin natin siya dito sa baba. Okay? At the support area. And then we can buy here. But it's very important that we wait for the candle confirmation. Okay? There should be rejection or reversal in these areas. Okay? Dapat mag-pivot siya or change of direction for us to sell and buy here. Okay? So, let's see. It should touch our supply and demand zones. And the candlestick should tell us that it is indeed a Ayun. Okay. So this, di ba? Tingnan natin. Tingnan natin. With this candlestick, does this show us a reversal? Baka hindi, no? Because hindi naman siya tweezer, okay? Tapos mas maliit. But there is a reaction, meaning there is a sign na may bumibili dito. So we could wait for more confirmation. Ayun. Not so much. There. With this, okay, having seen this, we could actually now, diba, create a buy entry because for the three reasons. Una, it's a sideways market. Second, it is in the support area. And the candlestick show us that there is reversal, right? So we can actually, we can buy here, for example. Tingnan natin. Bakit wala ang buy eh? Okay. Tingnan natin kung ayun, umangat siya. Okay? And then we could close at first. Okay, so we could actually close here already. So that's how you do it, guys. Hindi tayo gumamit ng indicator. We just use there lang siya, okay? Price action lang, okay? Nag-mark up lang tayo ng supply and demand zones, and we just look at the candlesticks. Okay? Is this clear? Pa-type naman po ng clear.